Hello, my dear friends. I welcome you all to my channel. Today we are going to learn an English chapter of Class 8 of NCERT from the book Honeydew. It's chapter number 1, The Best Christmas Present in the World, written by Michael Morpurgo. And we are going to learn part 2 of this chapter. Part 1 we have learned in my earlier video. So let's continue today. But students, if you are viewing my video for the first time, do subscribe my channel and press the bell icon so that you get the notifications of my upcoming videos and watch the video till end. If you like it, do hit the like button. One more thing, students, you will also find 9th and 10th standard NCERT English explanation in my channel. You can go and find out in the playlist. You can also inform and share this with your other friends. So let's quickly see about our author once again. Actually, we have already read about him in my previous video. So let's have once more a glance. We have Sir Michael Andrew Bridgemore Furgo, who is an English book author, poet, playwright, and librettist who is known best for children's novels such as War Horse. Okay, so we saw in the first part that he's taking us to the scene of World War One, where the army members are missing their family. And here, one of the army personnel's letter is found inside the top desk, roll top desk, which our author gets it from a shop. And now he finds a letter, though it's not correct to read the letter, his curiosity makes him to read it. So now let's proceed on to see whether he is reading the letter, and if so, what is he finding inside the letter. So as and when see here, usually the army members used to share their experience of the warfield, whatever they have done to their with their loved ones. So here such letter we find of Jim Macpherson, who was in the warfield, is writing his letter to the dearest wife Connie. So let us see, students, what he has written in this letter for his wife, how he's sharing uh, his experience there. Actually, it was a Christmas festival there, and it was on the warfield that they have celebrated. So how even we all like to share our festivity and our get-togethers with our loved ones. In the same way, this army member has also shared his Christmas celebrations in the warfield with the team members. So let's see what we have to learn here. So come on, students, let's start with the letter. So letter goes like this. Dearest Connie, I write to you in a much happier frame of mind because something wonderful has just happened that I must tell you about at once. So we see here he's so happy to write this letter. He's saying to his wife, Connie is his wife's name, dearest Connie he's writing. And he says, I'm very happy to say you something which happened because it was very wonderful. And I want to say you everything. I'm not able to withstand and keep it in myself. And he says that yesterday, you know what happened? That we all were standing in our trenches. Students, trenches means the place or the pit which is digged near the war field so that there the army members can hide themselves. So he's saying he was standing in the trenches and it was a Christmas morning. And he says, describes the first Christmas morning as it was so beautiful as it should be, as cold as it should be, because it usually comes in winter season. So he's saying it was a beautiful morning, Christmas morning, and I should say you that I should like to be able to tell you that we began it and we began the celebrations. But before that, he's saying there's one truth I want to say you, and I'm ashamed to say you that yes, but it was Fritz who began it. Now here, students, Fritz is nothing but a name given to a group of Germany army members. You commonly call the Germany army members as Fritz. So during those days, they were calling the Germany army members by the name Fritz, and the England army members were called by the name Tommy. So this person who is belonging to England, this is Jim McPherson, he says that we had to start this, but it was not started from our side. I'm ashamed. It was started by Fritz, that is German army members. What he is ashamed, what he had to start, let's see that. So he says, but someone saw a white flag waving from the opposite trench, and they were calling out us from across a no man's land. Happy Christmas, Tommy. Happy Christmas. So he's saying that we had to start this. Somebody waving the white flag. White flag was waved in order to show the peace that they don't want to fight at the at that moment, but they want to say something. So they wanted to wish them happy Christmas, and it was started by Fritz. So then he said they were standing in the no man's land. The no man's land is a land which doesn't belong to any of the members, neither Germany nor the England. So it was a left out land. So from there he could hear this voice that Happy Christmas, Tommy, Happy Christmas. And we had to got over the surprise. Some of us shouted back, Same to you, Fritz, same to you. So he said when we heard this, we were surprised to hear that. But anyways, some of our army members also responded to them and said, Same to you. But I thought that would be that. We all did. But then suddenly one of them was up wearing his grey coat, grey great coat and waving a white flag. Then we thought that's it, they have wished it and that's it. But suddenly I saw that one of the members in their grey color uniform, they were wearing a flag, white flag, and they were coming ahead and they were shouting, Don't shoot, lads, means do not shoot. And we did not shoot. But then there was another Fritz upon a parapet. Means one more army came from behind them. Parapet is again a long wall which is used for the saving themselves from the enemy members. So again, one more Fritz they saw, and another. So many Fritz were coming from opposite directions. So I ordered my members to keep your heads down. It may be some trick. Maybe they are tricking and they want to trap us. But it wasn't like that, Koni, you know. So like this, he's sharing. Then he says that one of the Germans was waving a bottle above his head, and it was a Christmas day. So I think it is Christmas day, Tommy. We have snaps, we have sausage. We meet you, yes? Then, because it was a Christmas day, they were enjoying. They wanted to do party, so they had a bottle above their head. Snaps are nothing but a drink type which they were having, and sausages are the non-veggies. So they all had come with preparations, and they met them, and they had dozens of walking men who were walking there from the opposite members, and they did not have any rifle with them, no armaments with them. And little Private Morris was the first up. Come on, boys, what are we waiting for? They wanted to start the party there, and then there was no stopping them. I was the officer there. I wanted to stop them. I should have stopped them, but I did not do that, and I did not even fail to do that because they were so happy, so nice that they were mingling and wishing each other, and everything started on. All along the line and ours, I could see men walking slowly towards one another, grey coats, khaki coats, meeting in the middle. Means both the members started meeting in the middle of the land and shaking their hands and enjoying the Christmas party, Christmas Day there. And I was also one of them. And in the middle of the war, we were making peace. Actually, we were there for a war, to fight a war, but we were making peace there now. You cannot imagine, dearest Coney, my feelings as I looked into the eyes of Fritz officer who approached me. So one of the Fritz officer approached this Jim and he stretched his hands and he's saying, Hans Wolf, he said, gripping my hand warmly and holding it. I am from Düsseldorf. I play the cello in the orchestra. Happy Christmas. So he's introducing himself that his name is Hans Wolf and he is from Düsseldorf and he plays cello. He's a musician and he's wishing him Happy Christmas. So Captain Jim Macpherson, he replied. Captain Jim Macpherson, I replied. And Happy Christmas too to you too. I'm a school teacher from Dorset in the west of England. As he introduced me, so even I introduced him. And when he heard Dorset, he smiled. He smiled with a surprise and he said, I know this place. I know it very well. Though he had not stepped in that place, the Dorset, but he had read it in his book, in his English book during his school days. So he remembered and he said that I was from that school and I have read from the Dorset and I know everything about Dorset, though he had not set his foot in this city. Then we started a rum and excellent sauces. We just shared everything and we talked. And then it was at that time that he was speaking such a perfect English, and he just shared with me that I know Dorset very well, and I had learned everything about it. It's in England, And when I was in school, I read this everything in one of my English books, and it was my favorite. And my favorite author, writer was Thomas Hardy, and his favorite book from the Madding Crowd. He was sharing every of his experience and information with me. So out there in no man's land, we talked of Bathsheba and Gabriel Oak and Sergeant Troy and Dorset. And he had a wife and one son, born just 6 months ago. As I looked about me, there were huddles of khaki and grey everywhere, all over no man's land, smoking, laughing, talking, drinking, eating, and everyone was enjoying to the fullest. Then Hans Wolf and I shared what was left of your wonderful Christmas cake, Connie. Then he's saying, Connie, you had sent me a Christmas cake, na? I shared it with Hans Wolf. He thought the marzipan was the best he had ever tasted, and he liked it very much. Hans Wolf was just fond of it, and he liked it, and even I agreed to it. We agreed about everything, and he was my enemy. I was not able to believe, and there never was a Christmas party like it, Tony. It was a very beautiful and a nice party, Christmas party which I had ever. Then, then someone I don't know, they bought a football from somewhere, and to a surprise, there was a football match which was going on between one and the other team, between our team, the Fritz, and the other team, Tommy. And everyone was playing nicely. And there was a moment when I noticed our breath mingling in the air between us. He saw it too and smiled. Jim Macpherson, he said after a while, I think this is how we should resolve the war. Then in between the match, we saw each other, we smiled. We smiled that the environment, the peace environment, with the help of football match, and we just had a conversation that we should resolve the war with a football match so that no one dies in the football match and no children are left orphaned, no wives become widows. I'd prefer cricket, I told him, because I love cricket. Then we Tommies could be sure of winning probably. He laughed at that, and together we watched the game. So I was very familiar that Thomas will win the match, and we watched the game. And sad to say for me, but Fritz won, two goals at once. But as Hansberg generously said, our goal was wider than theirs, so it wasn't quite fair. So somewhat like that, though they won the match, they were so happy with it. They were just appreciating each other's team. So this is how he is sharing his experience. Then further he says that the time came, and all too soon, when the game was finished. The snaps and the rum and the sausage had long since run out, and we knew it was all over. Now, at the end of the party, he says that everything finished, that rum, our eatables, and everything. And I wished Hans well and told him I hoped he would see his family again soon, and it was a time for them to move again apart to their own trenches. So they again wished for each other to meet their family again soon, and they just left each other. The land was left there itself. Then he also says, I think that it was every soldier wants on both sides. They, that they wanted to end the war and go home soon. And so each of them wished for everyone the same manner. Then Hans Wolf said, take it, Jim Macpherson. I shall never forget this moment, nor you. He saluted and walked away from me slowly, unwillingly, I felt. It was such a happy moment that they did not want it to live and go, but unwillingly they had to leave each other. Then they waved just once, and then became one of the hundreds of coated men drifting away to their own trenches. Then they went back to their own trenches. And that night, back in the dugouts, we heard them singing a carol. Then they were still singing beautifully. We all supported them for till some time by rousing choruses for them. Then we exchanged carols for a while. Then we all fell silent. Then after some time of singing carols, then we fell silent. We had a time of peace and goodwill, a time I will treasure as long as I live. Then that slowly everyone became silent, and he shares his in his memories that he's never going to going to forget, or these memories are never going to fade away from his mind. As long as he lives, he will treasure this. It will be a most precious memory in his mind. Then he says, dearest Coney, by Christmas time next year, this war will be nothing but a distant and terrible memory. I know from all that happened to date how much both armies long for peace. We shall be together soon. I'm sure of it. Your loving Jim. So this is how he closes the letter by writing to Coney, his loving wife, that from by the next time of Christmas, I'll be there. This war will be ended. It will be nothing but just a memory. And I know that both the armies will be longing for the peace because they do not want to fight. I saw this very closely. Everyone is longing for peace. And we shall be together soon again, my dear Coney. I'm sure of it. And by saying these few words, he closes his letter by writing, "Your loving Jim." So students, we saw such a loving letter written by Jim McPherson to his loving wife, Connie McPherson, and he's sharing about his Christmas celebrations and the day how he celebrated. And more ahead, we'll see what happened after reading this letter. Was this letter being sent to that address? Did the author take the initiative? Did he reach that place? All this will be seen in our upcoming video, in the next video. So you keep waiting for it. And I'll be back soon with my next video. That is part 3 of this chapter. I hope you like this part of the chapter. And thank you for watching my video. If you liked it, do hit the like button. Thank you.